A very good day to all of you. Today we are going to discuss two topics mainly: how height, scale, and massing play an inherent role in visualizing and establishing an architectural vocabulary in any campus. The second is creating views and vistas using corridors and passageways. So, looking at the first topic and talking about the height, scale, and massing, any building requires to be designed by respecting the design principles, mainly the height, scale, and proportion. These three principles undoubtedly create a comfortable human scale experience in the public realm and allows a perfect balance of physical and visual permeability through any site. The scale, which is of the most important asset of any built form, needs balancing of other surrounding or adjacent spaces in relation to the built form. This is where the human scale comes into existence and becomes a reference to create this experience. The user, while using any built space, tries to comprehend the language of the elements which are proportioned and scaled with regards to himself. As you can see in the first slide, the user, while walking adjacent to any building, is very much comfortable to view the detailing of the facade provided at the level of a human height. The user can very well relate every small intricate detail which is at a convenient visual height of the user. The lesser detailing can be furnished upwards, which is normally lesser viewed by the user. Thus, the scale and the proportion of those intricacies also need to be in proportion to the user height. In the adjacent slide, as you can see, the row of arches which have been provided at a comfortable 10 feet height, which an user can easily relate to, is given. The buildings which abut to any street should establish a language with the street, also involving the user in that realm. The lower levels of the built form should maintain a certain hierarchy, detailing character and expression, and initiate transparency and animation. The upper levels can have a lesser intrusion of detailing and can differ in terms of treatment from the lower levels of the facade. The front facade of the building can have a visual volumetric hierarchy and can have a pattern of openings to maximize the amount of sunshine, light penetration, and thereby create a continuous physical and visual relationship. The different slides shown here express the way the various facades have been treated in a volumetric hierarchy, irrespective of the different architectural elements used to treat the building. The detailing cannot only be restricted at the eye level, it can move as high till the roof level, where only certain amount of scale, proportion, and detailing is maintained. As important is the start of the building at the road level, similarly, the culmination of the treatment of any built form is equally important. This together helps to achieve variable massing and helps the user to assimilate the vocabulary of any building facade. Repetitive forms and elements, though look monotonous, can render an aesthetic, symmetrical character to a simple facade. The repetitiveness has to be decided with respect to the visual communication of the user. Buildings, when placed in a cluster or adjacent to each other, have to be respectful of each other in terms of scale and proportion, and their immediate proximity to the open spaces. The determination of the height of any building should not adversely affect any open space adjacent to it, nor should it dominate the nearby built forms in the context. The heights of the building should safeguard the climatic features of the site and have ample allowance for the user to use these spaces at any point of time in any climatic conditions. Thoughtful design interventions by proposing setbacks to allow for maximum light and ventilation of all open and closed spaces should be encouraged. Buildings fronting narrow streets should not be more than 4 stories in height, as you can see here. But if compact buildings with larger heights need to be proposed, then they should step back beyond 4 stories to create comfortable building skylines and open space environments, as you can see over here in this red building, which has been beautifully treated to have a stepped facade, and at the lower level it has been treated differently. If the building masses are large, then the mid-block passages or corridors can be developed to allow pedestrian circulation routes which will break the building mass. This slide particularly highlights the massing of the built form, which are projected at different levels and provide an animated and attractive facade to all the open spaces and the streets. It is particularly blissful at the lower levels. Any entrances, how can they be developed, and how do they form the views and the vistas if we are considering the corridors and the passageways, which can help create some good nodes and intersections and landmarks, can be discussed here. These are actually the corridors which help you to define the views and vistas, and they are actually assisting in the wayfinding throughout the campus and also develop an identity for any campus. Creating visual interests and connecting them supports a safe and secure environment and a confident aura in the user. The use of material along with the natural elements to create an unobstructed views can render a clean space and promote all-time access. The definite use of material respecting the character of the context by indulging in meaningful and intentional spaces and which can initiate social and community exchange should be encouraged. The treatment of leveled semi-open spaces by integrating different elements and materials to create a focal point renders the space an aesthetic value. Generating different views from many locations and terminating into a prominent landmark, any node or installation which can be a significant way of dealing with the treatment of passages and corridors can be developed in any campus. Thus, the planning approach, along with organizational, behavioral, social, and overall developmental opportunities which can be created, needs to be addressed to define a campus experience. Thank you.